Welcome to another episode of Angels, Positivity, and Love. We have truly one of the most special guests we've had in 2023, 2024. I hope you enjoyed 2023. We taped 50 episodes. If you're new to the show, welcome. If you're an old hand, you're going to recognize our guest. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment while you're here. This is how we get the material out to your friends, your family, and people you don't know, so they get to enjoy angels, positivity, and love, and some amazing insight from our venerable guests. So with a little bit of fanfare, I just want to mention this is Michelle Clare, psychic medium, certified at MICHELLECLARE, CLARE.net. She's a 3-time near-death experiencer, does tons of conferences, does tons of shows that are much bigger than ours. So we're super fortunate to have her on. Other events and lots of fantastic stuff. So Michelle, thank you so much for being on the APL show.
Hi, Michael. Thank you so much for having me back. It's always a pleasure.
Well, people can check out your origin story. It was episode 9 back in March of 2023. I think you covered a lot of ground there. It was such a great interview. Also, you're on a mind, body, spirit panel. We taped 9 of those and already have 3 that we're working on in 2024. You were on a fantastic panel with Dr. Eben Alexander, who you've met at all the, ION, not IONS, that's who you're certified by, I believe. But the
IANS.
IANS, IANDS, the International Near-Death Experiencing Crowd. But you've crossed paths with him, plus Dr. Ingrid Hankala, marine biologist, NASA, U.S. Navy oceanographer. Her background is so fantastic. People should check out her show too. I'm hopeful that in the spring of 2024, we'll have all 3 of you back for another round 2 for that panel conversation stuff. Okay, welcome to the show. I did want to just cover just a little bit more of your background. You've been on like Coast to Coast AM and seriously some big shows. You're in Gilbert, Arizona. And you have a really special, from childhood, age 12, with your grandfather passing, to just your current skills, how you really relax, get into the present moment, and you do listening on behalf of others. You help people relax more about their life situations. Basically, you help people park the brakes from what they think's happening so they can get into a better spot and allow for life, the universe to come in, and for them to breathe better and live more and basically enjoy the ride. Okay, take us where you will for where are things in your career these days? Is it been a whirlwind or not in the last 12 months?
It has been, yes, there's been a lot going on. I have a book that should be out in the next couple months, so I'm excited about that. And yeah, I mean, it's always stepping forward, right? And I think that's part of us as humans, is we always want it to come faster than it does. But really remembering that divine source is guiding us, and each step is perfectly placed right on the track for our own individual lives. And that's really where we can step in and say, yeah, look how far I've come, and I still have a long way to go, and be really excited about both ends of that.
Oh, you said it so well. We're always building a foundation, whether we know it or not. And it could be raining, you don't have an umbrella. It's kind of a metaphor for all the things that happen to us in life, but everything is actually perfect as it is. Good luck believing it. But from an angel's perspective, or your guides or your loved ones looking out for you, that's absolutely the case. I'd like to light a little bit of sage early in this show and just simply honor you, honor this moment having you back on. I'm super thankful every time we interact with each other. It's always a treat. So thank you.
Thank you.
And for folks at home, hopefully you've done this before. Just catch a little bit of sage, ask for flowers and sage. Lorna Byrne, the Irish angel mystic, got daisies and roses in Ireland, but didn't catch the sage. Jennifer McLean, the 35-year healer, got 3 sets of flowers, or 3 types of flowers, and sage in Laguna Niguel, if I pronounced that correctly, in California. So here we go. But I'd like to first just say something, which is, it is such a treat when I have Michelle Clare in front of me on this show, or on a panel, or when we're doing an event down the road in the future together. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. You're such a wonderful individual. I am just totally thankful for this. And I'm asking for angels to come through for everybody, not just sage, and I'm getting whooshed. And may you have a wonderful rest of 2024. Are you catching the sage right now?
No, all I can smell is a perfumey flower. It's white lilies is what they're showing me.
Aw. And
thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Tell us a little bit of how you work. Is it every form of sensory ability, but not always all at once? Sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that. Could you describe a little of how it works and how you connect on behalf of others?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, most of my information comes through as feelings. I like to describe that to people as looking at someone that you know really well and you know exactly what they're going to say before they say it. It's just there, right? You can reach out and grab it. I'm translating what I'm feeling into words when I'm doing readings. Sometimes I will see things, physically feel things. If I'm connecting with a loved one who maybe passed from a heart attack or had asthma or COPD or things like that. So I'll feel things, I will see things in my mind's eye, and I will hear things also. But my main connection is through the feeling.
Hmm. Okay. What has evolved for you as your skills go in the last couple of years? Has something gotten stronger for you, or have you learned to check out better where you're not judging something or you're just delivering as it is, or all the above, or a third category?
Yeah. So, yes, I do not really judge things as I deliver them. It's just, I actually really feel like I step out of the way. So, I very often don't remember my readings too, because it's not about me. That part of my brain that would be judging it or thinking this is right or wrong or that's silly or this is good really has to get out of the way for the readings to go through with as clear and as much accuracy as possible. So, that has not been a problem for me. Afterwards, there are definitely readings where I say, oh, wow, that was big. Like that came through and I could feel that that was big. I have recently started channeling. So I've started doing that in a different way. I'm not doing it publicly yet, but oh my gosh, that's a whole new level. For me, when we are talking about channeling versus mediumship, I would say mediumship feels like being on a boat and channeling feels like you're in a fighter jet. It's a whole nother layer and level of connecting to the information.
Hmm. Okay, what can you tell us about the book? Publisher or release date, or is it still being kind of the final edits? And are you able to share the title or at least tell us kind of the category it fits into?
Yeah, so it's going to fall into the spiritual category. We're pitching it. So it's in beta copy right now. So we're looking for an agent. I don't know if I can tell you the title or not. It has a title, but no one's told me if I should say that or not say that.
Yeah, don't.
Don't say that. Okay. So it does have a title, and it's really about my life story, my connection with spirit, my 3 near-death experiences. There's a chapter in there and kind of what you find when you get to the heavenly realm. And it's got different information about visits that I've had from loved ones in spirit too.
Okay, now people can check out episode 9 of this series back in March of 2023 for some of the details for those near-death experiences. But for somebody who hasn't seen you before, can you just briefly encapsulate all three? And I know it's not easy to briefly encapsulate them. That's a really big deal. I mean, I think it's Ingrid Honkala and a few others have had, I mean, to have 3 near-death experiences, oy vey.
Yeah, it's a lot. So the first one happened in April of 2000, and I was in a hospital because my sister-in-law had just had a baby. And at that point in time, I was actually in the hallway talking to her RN, who was my friend from high school, and I had a massive seizure. And I just remember waking up, opening my eyes, and I was laying with my head in my grandma's lap. She had passed a couple years. Prior to that, I was in this room. It was all white. The walls appeared to be alive or moving or breathing. I look up next to my grandma. I see this beautiful angel. I didn't know anything about telepathic communication at that point in time. And I remember thinking, what is your name? And she answered me in my head. And she said, my name's Madeline. I'm your guardian angel. So it was quite the experience. And then the next thing I know, I'm hearing them yelling code, code, code. And I am back in my body. And it felt like I got dropped out of a 10-story building. Just, the density and the heaviness.
Yeah, a lot of heaviness. Okay, the second one.
This second one happened in May of 2006. And at that point in time, I had had my son about 6 weeks prior. I had had many complications with him. They said, hey, we're going to go in and do a DNC. It's a quick 45-minute outpatient procedure. The night before, I had that pit in my stomach, and I thought I shouldn't do this. But hey, they offered me the quick, easy answer, and that sounded good about then. So I took it. And I go in for the surgery, and I end up leaving my body. My beautiful white German Shepherd walks into the operating room. looks at me, and we are gone, and we are on this phenomenal beach with bliss, eternal, unconditional love, everything radiating light and love. There are colors, scents, sounds, emotions, things that we literally don't have here on planet Earth. And then I'm brought to my son, who is worried that I'm getting ready to leave because he was 6 weeks old. And at that moment in time, I just started praying and asking for help and guidance to stay longer. I'm taken back into the operating room. Jesus comes in. And the next thing I know, I'm waking up in post-op, and my 45-minute procedure turned into a 3.5-hour emergency surgery.
And that's the one where you were very lucky about the blood pressure thing. You let someone know, didn't you, ahead of time so that...
No, that was Ingrid. You're thinking about
Oh,
our
I'm thinking of
panel with
Ingrid. Wow, you know
Ingrid.
Ingrid's story well. I mean, you guys have crossed paths so much that, yeah, no, that was Ingrid. Sorry about that. And I mix everything up, so don't listen to me people at all. Okay, the third one, though, I think I can take a stab at this ladder. A fall.
Yes.
Thank God. Okay, so tell us about that, and not to add too many details or anything. And I know it's not important, but it is important. It's your life story. But in a way, it's your... I'm not going to get this right. It's like getting bitten by the spider if you're Spider-Man. I mean, this is what helps set the foundation, and it got you to pay attention, and it got you to dedicate yourself to like expanding human consciousness, which is what I think your words are. And you're just you're fantastic you, and making yourself available to anybody who's game. It takes a lot of guts to reach out to you and allow for some change, new winds blowing in, and letting the universe do its job. Okay, the third one, the ladder.
Third one happened on 11/1/11 for people who like numbers. I'm up on a ladder in my kitchen. I'm changing the batteries in this candle that operates every night. It turns on, and I feel the ladder start to shift. And at that moment, I'm literally ripped out of my body. I'm turned around facing it with these three people that I don't know, but I feel like I've known them forever. They feel like family or friends. And I see my body in the ladder suspended in the air. And they basically say to me, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay, or do you want to go? And at that moment, I see a different angel come in who's dressed in red and gold. And I realize when this angel comes in that it is either here to make something happen so that I can stay, or it's taking me home. It was just very clear to me. And at that moment, I could see my younger two kids in the kitchen. And as I saw them, I knew I needed to stay. So I was downloaded with a bunch of information about, okay, but you've got to go back and do your mediumship. Your marriage probably won't survive this. You'll have more trauma coming up. A ton of information. And I will tell you from the soul perspective, and have been thinking about this a lot lately. I was just kind of like, okay, yeah, send me in. Right. And then I get here, and the human side of it is so hard. But the soul level, you're just like, oh, sure, sounds like a great plan. But in that time, I committed to my mediumship. And that was really part of the deal about me coming back, was that I had to come back and do it in the way that I do it. And so that's been my life's work since I've been able to physically recover from the trauma that came with that one.
Yeah. And I mean, ebbs and flows, valleys and peaks, a lot. And that's everyone's life story. I think the thing that I would love to have you just focus on is it's still really simple no matter what the details are. There's always options. There's always an opportunity to go here, so much so that things shift and transform. But good luck, any of us believing that, because we've got bills to pay, cousins asking for money, health issues, this happened to me, that happened to me, welcome to the human ebb and flow, the human nature thing, the drama, the eternal questions that make us all, in a laundry machine, basically getting tumbled on high.
Yes.
Except I mixed my metaphors there. Okay, so take us somewhere with that. It is incredibly simple, but we would never know it unless we practice in some form or fashion letting go, or we grab someone like you to help us.
Right. Well, really, when we talk about free will, it does exist, and that exists in our perspective, the perspective of how we're going to choose to see something. So we can either see the car accident as the worst thing that's ever happened to us, or as it saved our life because it could have been worse, or maybe it took us down a detour that gave us other blessings. So really, it's all about our perspective on things. And very often things that we think are horrible in our human form, our soul did not think was going to be horrible. Our soul said, this is going to be a phenomenal lesson. I'm going to learn. I'm going to grow. I'm going to experience the contrast. And the people that we think are our worst enemies on a soul level are our best friends who are helping us learn these lessons and grow.
Ooh, that is such a good one. I love that. And that's where there's a rub. Like if something keeps coming up in your brain, you can't let it go. I'll have to give an example. I've been running for 41 years, but anything that's bugging me or just hasn't worked itself out comes up at like mile 3 or 4 by 5. But somewhere later in the run, you've let go of everything and you're enjoying the run and you've breathed essentially, even though you're taking heavy breaths the whole time. But my point on this is all of it is there to teach you something. Um, how can we pay attention more? What is just some of your advice? Because we're so stuck on word structure and the dynamics that are happening here that we're
Right.
often just missing that big picture.
Yeah, well, a lot of times when we're paying attention, it's not necessarily with the words, it's what are we feeling?
Hmm.
Like, what does that person say that is triggering you? And why is that triggering you? Right. So that helps you to actually go in and notice what you have to pay attention to. But being present is always about being in the moment. So I often think about this when I'm doing readings and connecting with people for work and things like that. I have to be present because I'm talking to spirit, their angels, their loved ones right now, not tomorrow, not yesterday. It's all happening right now. And we really know this, that as a soul, our power is always in being present. It's not about worrying about the future, feeling guilty about the past. There is no power in those moments. It's in what are we doing right here, right now.
Hmm. Beautiful. Okay. Angels exist. Yes.
Yes,
And we have loved ones and others who we've either interacted with in other lifetimes or just here that are also part of our cheerleading squad and your pets.
absolutely.
And they're accessible if somebody's a little timid about that or just not sure, because my personal belief is everyone's fully super skilled. They can turn towards dream time or asking the universe to deliver signs, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with you. Everyone does have this. It's our natural gift as souls and bodies, right? It's our usual way to communicate with spirit. There is no God up there that says, oh, if you live a good life, you'll see them again someday. No, we're always connected to our loved ones, whether they are animals, angels, life guides, whatever this is. And so that soul connection, it really does transcend this earth, space, and time reality.
Okay, now there's something that I keep trying to get to because we know our dynamics. It could be again job stress, this person, family member, health. This I exercise. There's a million things. But there's like a light switch, and we're so used to walking around a home and flipping a light switch on, we don't analyze it. I'm not worried about my living room light switch. Did I do it properly? Did I do it quick enough, or I was too slow? It kept me up for 4 nights in a row. I'm like, oh my God, 3 o'clock last Tuesday, I didn't do it right. No, I trust that the light goes on and we're all light switches, except flip it around. So to go on, you go to your heart. And you're
Right.
usually off when you're up here doing a little too much thinking, too much
Mm-hmm.
judging, reacting, stress, fear, worry, and all that stuff. Um, how do you personally make sure you drop to your heart? Are you finding it you're there more, or what's your advice for other people to practice a little bit more, slowing down, pumping the brakes, getting to their heart? And then also how do you personally, the more you end up doing, the more you almost need extra technique, because the ego is very sneaky for taking the usual ways you slow down and kind of it's not going to work. And you've got to come up with new ways to pump the brakes. How do you operate? What do you recommend for others to pump the brakes?
Yeah, well, I like to say for people to put their hands on their heart and actually say, what does my heart say? What does my heart say? Now we're turning off your head and we're giving your heart a chance to have a voice. And that's also connected with your soul, right? So you're really starting to tap into your intuition there. It's interesting because people will very often listen to their gut. Oh, my gut just said I shouldn't do that. Right. And that's intuition. And that's good. Always follow those gut impulses. But what does your heart say? So taking a moment during the day to really tap in and see what your heart is saying. And the other thing is I like to use my breath. So even if it's just stopping and taking a couple deep breaths and being like, okay, I'm present, I'm here now, right? Or using a mantra, be here now. That is very powerful.
I love exhale like a whale, because right now, pick a topic, exhale like a whale on it, and send it out away from this country, off your property, out of your house, your apartment, and do that as often as you can remember. Okay, talk to us about serendipity or synchronicity, or hey, I don't know everything. I know my thinking doesn't actually get much done. I mean, when your thinking is really great, you're here, and then it's inspiring creativity. You wrote a song,
Right.
all that other stuff. But talk to us about how we can just simply make the request. How do we set our intent and let the rest of the universe, angels, our loved ones, break through and either deliver the goods or a lot of love or a wink, a hand on your shoulder, or a great dream? What do we do to invite more fun?
Yes, absolutely. So think of it as planting seeds. You just want to plant the seed of what it is that you're looking for, you want to bring in, and then you almost want to ignore it. You know, it's if I planted let's say sunflowers in my backyard, I'd water them once in a while, right? Pour a little love on them, but I'm not going to go out every day and like dig the hole to see if they've started to sprout or anything like that, right? Once I plant them, they're planted. That's how the universe works. So with the intentions that are in our hearts, plant the seed and then just imagine sending it some love, some light every once in a while, and just know that the universe is already growing and manifesting these wishes for you.
Yeah, and I think someone somewhere, and this is something you and I have heard, I'm sure, but don't worry about the how to get there. Let the universe handle that. So could you
Yeah.
give us one more little bit of advice on just trusting more, worrying less, and going with the flow? And again, knowing that it's coming to you is such a different, it's that feeling you talked about. Give us you're so good at this for those quick takes. You've got to have a quick take on how to feel your way there and kind of let go up here. And you just said it a little bit.
Yeah, that whole what does my heart say, right? I mean, that's really important for people. But I would also say, you know, besides using your breath, besides giving yourself a second too to come up with what feels right for you, too often people feel like they have to respond. Okay, yes, I'll be there. Okay, yes, right. And maybe that's not the right answer for you actually, but you're just a pleaser person and you want to say yes, yes, yes. And so just saying, giving yourself time to actually sink into what feels right for you. If we're not doing this regularly, it doesn't come as naturally or as quickly. It's like anything, it's a habit, it's a muscle. The more we use it, the easier it is.
I like that. And there's that whole expression, if you do something like, I don't know, 2,000 hours or 10,000 times, it's just second nature. And that's that light switch thing. Again, if you just practice letting go, get out of what you know long enough to be more connected to everything around you, you'd be surprised at what happens. I'm going to put up a couple angel photos, but if you don't mind, did you ever end up finding out the name or meet that red and gold dressed angel from the third time?
Yeah, I did not get the name for that angel, and I have not seen it again. So I'm assuming it will be showing up when I leave this planet for good.
Yes, well, in my case, it'll be nighttime supposedly, that in my sleep I go and Charlotte's the one that carries me over. Why don't we put her up though? And you don't have to share anything out loud, but we just want to hear, check that box. If you can, ask who it was, but when you're ready, close your eyes and see that angel, and just a very friendly reminder
Mm-hmm.
and something fun. And then find something either from the red and gold angel and or Charlotte to, if you don't mind, share with all of us.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so you got that. We took care of that little housekeeping for you. Did you get the three angels, the original three angels, the three people that were there? Did you know who they were, or
I found out later they were my life guides. At the point in time where I had that near-death experience, I didn't know what a life guide was, but that was revealed to me later. And yes, now I do know them.
okay, how about we do it this way? I'm going to put a picture of Archangel Michael up. Can you get just three things to share with us all as reminders for, you know, living more, loving more, allowing more, like that? That was easy. Okay,
Ooh.
here's Archangel Michael.
Yeah, living, or actually, I'm going to start with loving more. Open your heart. All you got to do is open your heart more, right? Living more. Same answer. Open your heart. I like that. And what was the third one you asked me?
Living more, loving more, allowing more.
Allowing. Oh my God, it's the same answer for all three. He's genius. Open your heart.
But if you get a stick in the mud, you know, they've had tragedy. Their home burned down, they lost a loved one, and they say, I don't even know what love is. Now that's digging a hole. They've had love at some point in their life. They just are doing this. What would you tell what do we call that situation? The hard luck case. The person who's convinced themselves they've forgotten what love is. What would you tell that person?
Go get a dog.
No, dogs force you to come to Jesus and come into the moment. You
Yes.
cannot, yeah, got it.
We all innately know what love is, because when it's missing from our life, we want it. We, like when my mom transitioned, yes, even today at my age, my mom transitioned 5, 6 years ago. I miss my mother's love. Now I can connect with her in spirit and still get it that way, but I miss having her in the body. So the idea that someone doesn't know what love is actually pretty false. We do, because we might not know exactly what we want it to look like, but we know the part of it that we're missing.
Ooh. Okay. I've got a Pacific Princess, a guardian angel for me, who's a white ball light. Normally, check out my website for that. Min, don't worry about the full name. Min is the Lakota Sioux word for water, if anybody wants to catch Hawaii. But maybe we could get a topic from her. And if you don't mind catching a either Pacific resort, oceany, something that's thrilling for you, and let us know if you don't mind what that is.
Okay, her topic is play more.
And it sounds contradictory because most people are like, oh, I've got to get somewhere. My
Right.
career, this, that, or this is going on. I've got a fire over here in this department of my life. And yet that's not it at all.
Yeah. It's really
Okay,
about,
but yeah, you got to talk.
yeah. So it's really about remembering that our souls came to play and learn and evolve in the magic of life. And yes, sometimes there are fires that we need to put out right now, but that doesn't mean it has to consume our life, our day, our everything. It can be, for now, here's where my attention needs to go. And then after that, I'm going for a walk or a run or to my friend's house for dinner or whatever these things are that make me feel alive, because we get so bogged down in the humanness and what the world says we need to do that we really forget that our souls came here as an opportunity to play.
Okay. You give the best advice, and you also do everything in the most succinct fashion I've seen as a speaker. Now, I used to be a publicist in New York City for 19 years. So I took thousands of experts, put them on CNN, Fortune, Wall Street Journal, New York Times. So I'm a good judge of character on this. I love a good expert. If they're good, everybody stops what they're doing at the CNN producer desks. They're like, we want to have them back on. They make sure they get the phone number. And it's how fast can you respond? You are like that. You give great sound bites. Let's go for a top 10, a mix of the lessons you've gotten and how you've turned it around. It's enhanced your ability to serve others with love out of your heart, your higher self connected, doing what you do, but also it's basic advice. It's to get us in tip-top shape. Let's go with, let's just do a few right now. 3 reminders on how to pull your act together in life to get going and have more fun and more love.
I love that. Okay, well, let's start with one of my main lessons from my 3rd near-death experience. All right, this is one of the biggest ones I came back with. It was this. It was, instead of judging people for who they are, I was able to come back and start wondering, what does their soul want to learn? Okay, that is valid for so many reasons. Number 1, I don't need to judge anyone. I get to be curious and playful. What does your soul want to learn? Why do you keep dating the same type of person in different bodies? Why are you, whatever you're doing, I get to be curious about that. But that also frees us from having to judge anyone or anything as being right or wrong, good or bad. And it really brings our life force energy back to us, because now I don't need to worry about anyone. I can know that they are actually doing perfect for their life plan, whatever that is, whatever that course in earthly life was that their soul signed up to take. I have to assume it was perfect. I don't know what the plan was, right? But that's very freeing. So it gives us more energy.
Yeah, angels once said there's no right or wrong, but there's proper understanding. And so good luck for most of us out there in any given situation for allowing for that. It's such a broad perspective that we're like, you're kidding me. That person just hit my car, or I'm absolutely right, they're absolutely wrong, or they've just totally been insulting for 3 weeks straight. How are you going to turn the other cheek or see a bigger perspective? But that is our opportunity and the free will that we have with our interactions with people. Okay,
Yeah.
what's the second thing?
The second thing, oh my gosh. Okay, how about this? Angels are real. I've literally seen them multiple times. And so for those of us who feel like we are living life alone, we're not. We have angels who are guiding us and loving us every step of the way, not to mention your loved ones and your life guides and source, the divine, and other beings of light. So the fact that all of those are real and continue to exist is very crucial for us to know.
Okay, now I'm going to back up on one thing. How influenced are you by your guides and angels on a per second per minute level? And this may ebb and flow. There may be weeks at a time where you're just much more like not checked out, but I'll have to do it this way. Back, I can remember like in 2011, 2012, having full out conversations out loud in the shower. I don't do that anymore. I'll be walking around like philosophically chatting back and forth. Now I've internalized it. So the bottom line is, but I mean, I get little advice to do this, do that. Can you share with us how it goes when you're in your kitchen, you're trying to decide tea, coffee, that snack, the fruit? Are you getting advice, paying attention, or is it a mix, or it depends on the day of the week? How's it work for you personally?
It depends on the moment. Are you kidding? Sometimes it's like, no, I need this chocolate now. And I don't care who's telling me I don't need it. I am convinced I need it. And now is the time for that. Right. But it would also depend on our mindfulness. What a huge word that is. Right. And kind of like we were talking about earlier, when you're saying, oh my gosh, this car accident, that person's horrible, they hit me, whatever. When we're in something that is got a lot of high emotion in it, it's very hard to be mindful. But when it's not that I need my piece of chocolate right now, or I'm going to have a mental breakdown, and I can just be like, oh, I think I might be craving that. Now I can have more mindfulness around it. Do I actually need that? Is it a craving? Do I want that? Let's go even deeper on that. Am I spiritually hungry, mentally hungry, emotionally hungry, physically hungry? Right? We have so many different types of hunger that are constantly running through us, but we have to be mindful to ever even get to the point where we figure out what type of hungry are we.
Ooh, mindfulness expert as well. Okay. Now, which one of your guides, who do you want to give a shout out to? The angel, Jesus, this family member, who really dodges the personal barriers, that's like, no, wait, I'm going to have that, piece of watermelon over there, or the cantaloupe or the whatever. And who's like, you should have this instead. Who reaches you with the best advice that can penetrate your defenses, though?
Yeah. So my angels have the strongest frequency. So I like to think of them all as channels, and my angel channel is really tuned in. But I've got to give my life guides credit. They work so hard to keep me here and keep me on track. I mean, those three beautiful beings of light, they probably did not realize what they signed up for when they said, oh, sure, we'll work with Michelle in this lifetime. I work them overtime. I have no doubt.
Okay. You can throw me under the bus. Let's do it this way. I'm going to put Charlotte. I'll put Jesus up and Joy. Use me as a guinea pig here. Look, I used to roll over in the middle of the night. Like, I don't know if this is 2010, 2011, but you've heard those whole kahuna stories. Some kahuna, the healer, in their growth, they get woken up at 3:13 a.m. for 20 years straight so they can commune with their spirits and their, and expand. I would roll over in bed and my cat would be brave. Macy, she would go out to the living room, and once in a while I'd make it out that far. And then I'd turn on the MTV or an old black and white, and it would be hello, hello, hello. I just came by to say hello, my guardian angel, the lyrics from that song, or Dragonette, and it was a famous song like in 2014 or something. Or it'd be an old black and white that turned into a guardian angel movie, Angela, Angel-A by Luc Besson. So no matter how much I tried to duck it, they were there with another alternative way to handle me, to get me to pay attention. With your permission, what's Joy say about, I mean, I put up a good bit of resistance at the beginning.
Yes.
What does she say? Just yes, and she's laughing?
Yeah, she's absolutely laughing at you. She is like, oh my God, this guy, what we had to do to get him on board with his own life plan. That's the funny part. You were resisting your own soul's plan. I love that.
Yes.
And she's calling you out on that.
Yeah. And here's Charlotte, a tough taskmaster at the beginning, but I feel like, I mean, she's one of my business managers along with Michael and Rebecca. But same thing. You're welcome to throw me under the bus, please.
Absolutely. You get 2 red X's for overthinking.
Exactly. And now we'll do Jesus just real quick, but let's reflect something positive. So it doesn't look like I'm the black sheep here.
You're not.
Spiritual community. I mean, I have paid attention. And so hopefully I get a prop. Is it called a prop? Something positive?
Yeah, absolutely. Here's something positive. Keep leading with love.
Oh. And then Archangel Michael, but something that we both share in common. Let's throw ourselves under the bus or get a joint compliment.
I got the word faithful.
Oh, just staying on track and trusting.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay to do Mary, and I'll use a modern photo of Mary. Is that all right?
Sure.
Okay. Although all right, fine. If you're from Ireland, you have to have it this way. Let's do the classic. I'll come to the
Okay.
modern in a second. What does Mary have
Mhm.
for us all as a reminder for love?
Yeah, that it's actually who we are. It's what we were created from.
You're 12 for 10. No, that's not possible in the baseball sense, but you can't make up stats, but we're going to make up stats.
Okay, I'm in. Why do we have to play by the human rules, Michael?
I
We
say
don't.
that almost every day to myself in the mirror, and I'm also an eternal optimist. I love the amount of no's I get by the thousands because I still get 4,000 yeses, even if it's 8,000 no's. Anyone can change their mind at any point, which is why judging the biggest Scrooge in the world is going to get you nowhere. They can
Mhm.
surprise you just a year later, 3 months later, and by you relaxing on them, not judging them, you're giving them more free. You're giving them a boost on their path to choose differently. How did I do? Okay.
You did it great with that.
Okay.
Yes, you did.
Okay, now here's Mary, and if I don't, sorry, I'll get my English straight. If people don't mind having a little rainbow sparkle flex, like you're at a Macy's cosmetics counter, they had the glitter women would wear here, but a fan caught it, and it's all over your room. There's audience members who are veteran healers. There's audience members who've never heard of Oprah or angels, and it doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum. Allow for a little bit of glitter, and if you don't mind allowing for it as well, if everyone could also ask for 3 hugs, let her eyes shine even more in a smile. This is the Big Mary. I had to Wikipedia her at the beginning of this whole journey. And on the corner of your eyes or in the room, are you catching a little bit of golden or rainbow light glitter?
Yes.
Good. Okay, now she's got a good one for us, and I'll buy you just 1 ounce of 1 second of time. She said a long time ago to those 3 Native American chiefs, "Love is in everything. Open your eyes to see love." And what does she have for you to us, if I said that correctly?
Yeah, it is literally in everything. You've got to realize like every book on the shelf behind you is created out of love. Everything is made out of love. Even what we consider hard, like my computer, my desk, it is all actually created out of love and out of agreement within the universe that these things are here to help us to align to our bigger purpose.
Do you see colors occasionally on people on command, only once a year, or you've never said no to that, but you've caught it occasionally or anytime you wish, your dog or another person, the bus driver? Can you give us some examples of the aura energy, universal love energy, whatever we call it?
Yeah. So what does it look like to me around people?
Yeah. Do you see it when you want to turn on that skill? Do you do it?
Yes, I do. I
Okay.
usually see it in my mind's eye. I used to ask the universe to let me see it with my human eyes, and they said to me that that would really limit my vision. And I was like, "Oh, you're right." But I really want to see it with my human eyes. So I don't. I see it in my mind. But a lot of times it depends on the person. Look, we all love differently, and love is a different way. Like I love French fries and I love my kids, but those are 2 different ways to love things, right? I mean, we're not talking the same amount of love. So depending on the person, the situation, the place, I will see love differently. I will see it in different colors, different, let's say, distances around their auric field. It just depends. If we went into a hospice room where someone was getting to ready to transition, the amount of love you would see in there would be enormous, because everyone in that room is, even if they are crying and grieving, they are radiating their love for that being of light.
Oh, I love that. And I have this quote. I'm not gonna be able to find it in time. Love is what allows us to see or appreciate all the contrasts here on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. It was a beautiful quote. Okay, how about we do this? I'm going to put Joy's photo up, but first, let's just check with the crew. Why don't you just hear a yes if you get a thumbs up? This is a really easy thing to do. Just hear a
Yes.
yes. Okay.
Yes.
So now, if you don't mind, you'll put your finger up and through 2 screens, touch Joy. You'll feel the energy. You'll get pink light, angel light. Let her come into your ball of light. She'll light up your finger like you're in a Disney Cinderella movie or something like that. And then you can make a little heart out of the sky. I'm going to lose my English. And it's pink light. She's doing the work. You're just having fun, but it'll linger if you pull back. You can enjoy a heart. I don't know if the audience will see it, but if somebody at home wants to allow for it, they can just ask angels to get them out of their head, into their heart, and join you in it. That's if you don't mind being bold and beautiful here. So
All right.
Joy, catch a little bit of light, but breathe extra, people at home. You can do this at home. She'll light
Got
your
it.
finger up. Yep. And you already got the heart.
Yeah.
You're crazy. I'm crazy. Everyone's crazy. Okay. What what can you remind us about for, I mean, we want to still get stuff done. It's all nice that we talk about getting away from the details, allowing the
Hmm.
universe to sort things out. But when it comes to like manifesting that whole synchronicity thing or making stuff happen, there everybody has kind of a wish list, and then there's the real course in life. And sometimes it's not even this lifetime. If we talk about those people that you're having a problem with, it may not be this lifetime they're going to enjoy as much love as you would wish for them. How about that? And so, I mean, there's a lot of stuff here at work. To me, it's like a giant slalom course, and those gates. You signed up for some gates. Angels will make sure you have to hit certain ones that you go
Hmm.
through. Others, though, you might have that tremendous wreck, and that's part of the grand slalom course. You get back on your skis, get back on the hill, and try to get back in a tuck again. How can we ski better down the big hill and hit more of our gates? How do we manifest better? How do we put it to the universe? What do we do? Is this going to be a chapter in your book by any chance?
Maybe book number two.
Two.
I would tell you this. It's about not taking life so seriously. It's not that there aren't things to do. There are things to do. There are things that need to get done. You do need to show up for work. Your mortgage is going to need to be paid. Not too seriously.
My
Look at
pen, and
you.
that's scribble, chicken scratch scribble. I try to write neater. But my pen literally died, and that's ink running out. And I was getting
Yes.
that earlier. Oh my God, that's so cool. Okay, so talk to us. We still have like, and we'll wrap it up, but we still have like 5 or 6 of those lessons learned from you that allows
Mm-hmm.
you to be a fantastic teacher because you've already experienced it. You're trying to live it. And again, that's when you pass it on. It's from one person's heart to another's energy field or heart. What's your third or fourth reminder for life?
Yeah, that love is always the lesson. So sometimes when people, and I'm going to say this, people treat us horribly. Sometimes we are in situations that we need to leave. The lesson in there is loving yourself enough to leave. Sometimes we are in situations where we need to love ourselves enough to receive, or we're able to love others because they need to receive right now, right? But every time in life we are presented with a lesson, it's always about how do we love through it. And also this, in our human form, here's another lesson. We always want to think that everything that we want is meant for us, but that's not necessarily true. Not everything is meant for us in this moment, in this lifetime. So there's also this ability to receive what's meant for you and let go of what isn't. Now, this is a good example would be when somebody's in a relationship and they're like, but I want that partner. I want that partner. And then we get together and we break up, but I want that partner. Okay, but sometimes we have to love people from a distance and not actually that person isn't for your highest good, and being in the day-to-day relationship with them. It doesn't mean I can't still love you from a distance. It just means we're not supposed to be in each other's daily life.
Ooh, beautiful. And I was in a situation, let's just say it was a workplace thing where let's say you're getting insults or a committee or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting insults, you're not getting proper treatment and not all this other stuff. And I did the survey says with other adults to check my thinking to make sure the idea of stepping out of a meeting where you stand up and you say, okay, there's another way to handle this meeting when you guys are ready and to be civil. I'll come
Mm-hmm.
back. And then I resigned from the situation, literally resigned from a position. Just because, again, I had checked, everyone was like, bravo. I really think angels orchestrated a higher pitch of what do you call it, insults your way that
Mm-hmm.
no one should stand for. So I did the right thing. I walked away. I never said anything more than people should do their jobs, and that was it. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't done. No cursing. I think most males in their 50s would have like let the person have it. But it
Right.
did stick with me for a while, and I can see that that person's background, who was being extra mean or controlling, whatever you call it, it stems either from childhood or from their background, and there's a reason. It's the way they're not trapped. I don't want to judge it or anything, but they're
Mm-hmm.
ricocheting around in a way that means they're not in their heart, and it's their opportunity. It's my opportunity to do what you said earlier, which is just allow. It may not be this
Yeah.
lifetime. It's not my place to judge, but boy, on those runs for months, I'm still getting the same lesson, which is to allow, love, and let's hear from angels. Have I finally let it go and allowed? Are they giving me like yes?
They're giving you 2 thumbs up, Michael.
Yes. So, but I mean, I really do try to love all people. I believe in, and I don't want this to sound aggressive or like world peace, but ridding the world of anger just means taking a breath, being here more. I think that's
Mhm.
a very strong expression, but angels gave it to me. And I want the best for all, but again, not through my actions, just supporting others, if I could say it that way. Okay, what's your, like, you gave us like 3. So we'll say number 8. And I'll have Michael, though, jump in and remind you. This is going to be right off your dance card or cue
Yeah,
card.
I've got it. World peace is possible, but it has to start within yourself.
Yes. And if I'm going to quote Archangel Uriel, which I will pull 4 archangels up.
Yeah.
If more people would listen, there would be less conflict in any given situation. That one I nailed for a quote. Here's 4 archangels: Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel. Can we get another one of those assists, a layup? What do you call it? Alley-oop?
And alley-oop. Yeah, listen, okay, I'm trying to get the right words because I'm feeling a lot right there. It's about okay, until we deal with our own triggers, how are we going to deal with the consciousness triggers of humanity? So that is why we are here to do our own work. That is why I have to know whatever my wounding is as a 3-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 30-year-old, whatever these things are. Somewhere it says know thyself, right? If you know yourself and you know how to heal yourself and you know how to acknowledge your triggers, peace on earth is 100% possible. But you got to know yourself.
Why it's not about Italy. It's not about this party or this climate thing or any of the details, because that will pull you in a heartbeat out of the heart into right or wrong or left or right or up or down. Yeah. And we're not taking away from you. Find yourself in an alleyway. Obviously, there's all the Karate Kid lessons where, you could let the person's forward momentum and you step aside. You're very non-confrontational. But once in a while, sometimes you do have to, this or defend yourself. But there's just such a broader perspective on everything. And it really is a journey to appreciate trillions of layers of extra consciousness and awareness, and like a broader way to look at everything. Again, you have the better words for this. So to wrap it up for 9 and 10, I'm going to bring in Claire, who's resilience, and Lucy, who's patience, 2 more angels. But could you kind of touch on all that, how it's our life journey is just the most exciting thing, whether we know it or not. We only have to blah, blah, blah. How about pay attention, let angels do their jobs? But you talk about all this stuff.
Okay, well, we'll just go with what you said. Pay attention, let angels do their jobs. And remember that your soul is brilliant, resilient, and always whole.
Okay, how about this? Can we have angels fight over you? Okay, and by that I mean, who won? Have them fight and hear one voice. Is it Joy? Charlotte? Is it your guardian angel?
It's Michael.
Okay, so now, if you don't mind closing your eyes and just getting embraced in a way that you're like, oh my God, woo, spring cleaning.
Yep.
Okay, now what's the grand finale? Cherry on the Sunday of the final bit of a reminder for all of us to, take life less seriously and relish the joy that's in and around us all the time. Hopefully I didn't just say anything. Okay, what's your thing with Michael? What's he got? What do you have for us?
Yeah, it's that this being embraced by the angels is available to all of us, and that love is always available to us. So even when you're having a tough day, a happy day, whatever, best day ever, that love is always embracing us. We just have to turn our consciousness, tune it in so that we're aware of it.
So it's like a radio station in the dial, and it gets moved like 101X. I think that's a radio station it might be the Washington, D.C. alternative one, maybe in Austin. I forgot. I don't know my radio stations anymore. But it gets moved. It just takes one little event, a news program, a kid yelling, or honking at you in traffic. And you got to remember to dial back in. And that's the act you've been talking about all along. That's the mindfulness.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like a conscious stream. It's always playing. It's just, where are we in relationship to it? Are we 10 houses over? Are we at least in the same room? Like, where are you during your day? So monitoring that stream of love is always playing, and it's actually the one we need to be tuned into.
Okay. Now, if you're going to steer people to one place, it doesn't have to be your website or a particular event coming up. It could be a book. It could be a movie. What's one thing to look forward to? Obviously, you have a book coming out sometime in 2024. That would be one. What would you be like, hey, I just saw this. It's a documentary, or it's Don Miguel Ruiz's book. What's something you would love for people to pay attention to? It could be something on your website.
You know what I would love for people to dive in more to near-death experiences, because we are finding that that is what is proving the true nature of God. We have all of these people all over the world who are having these experiences. It doesn't matter how old they are, how they die, if they're male or female, what their religion is, what they're on and on and on, how they died, nothing. It doesn't matter. But what they're finding is unconditional love, peacefulness, support. Their loved ones know they're coming. So if there's one thing you can do that will expand your mind and help you connect to the true nature of God, source, the divine, I would say start researching NDEs.
I love it. Okay, last but not least, and we'll round it out. Geronimo, older photo of him, unconditional love figure. He's action, dry wit, humor. If a dull knife and a red shirt talk properly, formally, yes, no. He doesn't do it that way. He says, yeah, nah, duh. You already know the answer. He's a little smart alecky. You have no privacy. He also has your best interests at heart. Here he is. For folks at home, if you don't mind doing an invisible Formula One seatbelt, let his eye contact. Whoops, hold on. Oh, that was St. Francis. He's jumping in. Give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. Let his eye contact, though, really, if you need something to let go of, let him assist you. Feel this one. And what's the final gist of everything with Geronimo?
Get busy living.
He doesn't mess around. Well, Michelle Clare, Gilbert, Arizona, amazing certified medium. Michelle Clare, CLARE.net. Michelle, just as you would spell it. You've been on again on is it Next Level Soul with Alex Ferrari, Coast to Coast AM, and a dozen other of those amazing shows, plus plenty of conferences. Just again, what a wonderful treat to interact with you. Thank you so much for being on the show. Please, for her origin story and much more detail about the NDE stuff, please check out episode 9 from March of 2023. She was also on a Mind, Body, Spirit panel that's kind of a subset of this channel with Dr. Evan Alexander and Dr. Ingrid Hankala, who's also had 3 near-death experiences. And the good news is you do not have a competition going on. There's going to be no fourth, no win here. And if we're lucky, we'll get all 3 of you together in the spring of 2024 to kind of take it to the next level for that conversation flow. Okay, last mantra. If a person said this mantra and somehow figured out how to hit their light switch, get to their heart, what's you're the India guru. You're on the mountaintop. We've been sitting with you. We're waiting, and it's bated breath. We're hanging on every word you've said. What final mantra do you want to leave us with that the person goes running, they're doing yoga, they're walking their dog, and they're saying it a lot? Because they're like, Michelle Clare said it, and it's finally breaking through their thinking and what they think's going on. What's your mantra for all of us?
I am love.
And they got to feel it, though. At some point, by the 1000th time, love's going to start sparkling. They're going to start giggling, maybe put their hand on their heart, like you said.
Yes.
Michelle Clare, you are one of a kind. We are super fortunate to have you. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.